to this week's video. This week I'll be turning Animal Crossing characters into D&D characters, but you probably read that title, so you probably already know that. This is a really fun challenge, taking something from an existing IP and turning it into Dungeons & Dragons characters. Since I'm a little bit of a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, being a dungeon master for 2 amazing campaigns, I thought this would be a really fun exercise to take something that already exists and turn it into something else. This is an excellent challenge and an excellent drawing idea for anyone to do. So what will I be using in this video? In this video I'll be using the iPad Pro 9.7 inch. I love this case, it's so cute. This is the first generation iPad Pro. I've had this one now for about 3 years. I absolutely love it, and I originally got it so that I would get back into digital art when my computer broke. This was a fantastic way for me to be able to draw. Again, doing some digital art. Not that I do a lot of it these days, but it's really good for doing sticker designs and so much more. The program I'll be using is a program called Procreate, and the pen I'm using is the Apple first generation pen. So if you want to know more about this, I can do a video going more into using an iPad and whether or not it's worth it for you. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments section down below. But first of all, let's get drawing. So first up is my favourite NPC from Animal Crossing, Celeste. Now this design originally came about, which kind of spurred this entire idea from a stream where I was taking sketch requests, and during that sketch request stream someone requested Celeste as a magical girl. I loved the idea so much that I wanted to originally turn other NPCs from Animal Crossing into magic users, and then really thought about it and broke down the characters and was like, oh, they would make a perfect D&D set. So the class that I ended up choosing for Celeste was a sorcerer, which is a spellcaster who draws an inherent magic from a gift or a bloodline. So I kind of like the idea that she was gifted a fallen star and she turned into this magic user. I overall just really love her. She's just so cute. I get so excited every time I see her appear up in my little town in Animal Crossing. I don't know, she's just such a cute character design. It just makes me very happy. Next up is Blathers. Now Blathers was probably the easiest one to decide on what class he would be straight away. For those who aren't massively sure with D&D, this is why I'm explaining a lot behind the classes. I decided that he was going to be a wizard, and the reason for this is because he is a very studious person, and he enjoys learning and really enjoys like researching things, and wizards tend to be a scholarly magic user, a person who's capable of manipulating the structures of reality. So I kind of like this idea of work, considering he works in a museum. He always tells you about everything that's in the museum. It just makes the perfect fit for a wizard, and of course he's a magic user because Celeste is a magic user as well, with them being related. I just thought it was absolutely perfect and really suited the both of them to a T. It's not my favorite design out of the lot. I really like the cloak design in general, but I overall really just like the Celeste one a lot more. I think it's because the Celeste one was the first one I did. That's why I'm personally a lot more attached to her. This is just a really fun exercise. I've had a lot of fun doing this, in case you can't tell. It was very difficult to not stop doing them. So next up, of course, is our faithful Isabelle. Isabelle is a firm favourite NPC in Animal Crossing, especially in New Leaf when she was introduced. She was very much there to help you and make sure that you are always there, like, everything's going to be okay. And originally I was going to make her the cleric class because she feels very much like a healer to me, but I felt like it wasn't very suitable to her because she's quite a strong-willed person. Not that clerics aren't strong-willed, she just seemed like she would be a bit more of a fighter, and so that's why I ended up choosing her to be a paladin. And the reason she's a paladin is a holy warrior bond to a sacred oath, and maybe she protects the town. She's trying to make sure that everything's okay. Since in Animal Crossing she's always behind the scenes and running things, it just sort of made sense to me. Plus I really wanted her to have this giant shield, and I thought it would be really cute if the holy symbol that paladins tend to have was a shell, because she really likes shells on the beach. There's a throwaway line that she goes, oh, I really wish that I could go and collect shells on the beach, but I'm really busy. And I don't know, it just struck with me. I think this is my second favourite design of the lot that I've done. Overall, it just makes me very happy. She's just such a happy girl. I love her so much. And of course, here is Tom Nook. Ignore that little sketch there, we were watching Star Wars. Tom Nook was possibly one of the most difficult to come up with, and the reason being is I really originally was going to make him a rogue, maybe make him the DM, but in the end I decided, he was going to be a warlock, and warlocks tend to have a deity which they get their magic from. So warlock, proper description for a warlock, is a wielder of magic that's derived from a bargain with an extraplanar entity. So I was like, okay, so his patron is money. That much is obvious, because Tom Nook in the original Animal Crossing games lends you a house, but you have to pay him back, and that's the sort of like where you'll see the Animal Crossing memes where Tom Nook is like, give me all your money. I just thought it was really funny to me to have him like maybe his Patreon asks him to make all this money, so he uses his magic to trick people into giving him all his money. I don't know, I just thought it was a really stupid idea, and that's why I kind of went with it. It's just, sometimes you have a stupid idea and you have to run with it. Next up is Red, and obviously I had to make Red a rogue, since in the Animal Crossing game, Red is the one that often sells forgeries of paintings and statues, and I just genuinely sat there and was like, oh no, he's the rogue. Like, if you had to choose a class for him, he is the rogue, like, genuinely. The proper description that we have for a rogue, holy smokes, it's a scoundrel who uses stealth and trickery to overcome obstacles and enemies. So it just kind of made like sort of sense to have him like that. You may notice as well I've made all these characters human, and originally I was going to maybe use different races that were in Animal Crossing that were in D&D. It's because I'm thinking about Animal Crossing and D&D here. But I decided to make them all human just because since we are taking them so far out of their original character design, we could have made him an elf, we could have made him a tabaxi, but I sort of like decided that he has like a cat-eared hood. I just think that's really cute. I don't know, most of these was design ideas was just because I was sat there going, yeah, that would be cute. Next up is Leaf, who is possibly in my personal favourite class that's in D&D, and that is Druid. Leaf is a person who is normally a sloth character who visits your town and helps you plant flowers and shrubberies and stuff like that. And in the Animal Crossing New Leaf, when I first met him, there was he had a shop that you could go and buy flowers from and stuff like that. So a druid is a priest of the old faith wielding the powers of nature, moonlight and plant growth, fire and lightning, adopting animal forms. And I just thought that really suited Leaf as a whole. And there was a few characters, NPCs that could easily become a druid, but Leaf fit it so much to a T that I had to, like, it made sense to me. And he's got really soft vibes here. I really like this character design. Next up is KK Slider. Now, KK Slider is a very famous dog in the Animal Crossing world who sings, and you know he had to be the bard. Like, there was no other class that I could see him as. Kind of obvious for him to be picked as the bard, but at the same time it just makes sense in my head. And a bard is an inspiring musician whose power echoes the musics of creation. And I just think, you know, considering if you do play Animal Crossing and you do see KK Slider, it kind of suits him to a T. The most difficult part of this overall design was trying to make it fancy while sticking to the color schemes, because you may notice a lot of the color schemes that I'm going through here stick to the original palette, and this is so it doesn't go too far out of bounds from the original colors. And we have a little bit to play with here and there, and because he's a complete white dog, I tried to mix in a little bit of greys there and tried to make his outfit a little bit fancier, because he's a bard and he owns money, but he has very chill vibes and I really like it. I really like his little thing. Next up is Mabel. Now Mabel's class is not from the original set of 12 that you have from the D&D Player's Handbook. Mabel is an artificer. Now, an artificer is someone who imbues technology with magic. Now, originally, I was going to make both Mabel and Sable they were both going to be clerics, because I could see them as a team of clerics working together. Maybe their clothing is imbued with healing magic, but they have very different personalities. And when I was looking through, I was looking through a few boards, and people were recommending bard, and I'd already done a bard, and I wanted something different. Someone recommended artificer, and an artificer could imbue clothing with magical properties, and I thought that would be an absolutely fantastic idea to have Mabel and Sable, and if you had Label as well, as sort of like this group, this trio, maybe the bard, the artificer, and the cleric, all together, like working to make clothing that not only heals the body but the mind and the soul, like just the sort of thing. I don't know, I was trying to step out of the bounds with it, and of course we have her lovely sister here, Sable, which I decided on making her a cleric, because one of them was going to be a cleric, and then one of them was going to be an artificer, and then one was going to be a, if I was to draw Label as well, I would have drawn her as a bard. And the whole reason being is I want everyone to have like slightly different classes, but at the same time I want it to really reflect on their personality. Now Mabel is a lot more outgoing of a character versus Sable, and Sable in the games, if you've played Animal Crossing, is quite a withdrawn character. And I had this when I was thinking about the designs in general. I had the idea for Mabel down. I wanted her to be this very like shy looking, like sort of healer, and Sable is obviously a lot more outgoing, is a lot more withdrawn in comparison to Mabel. I may get those names crossed over a few times, apologies about that. Just sometimes my brain just goes nope. And lastly that we have up in this lineup is the lovely Daisy May. Now Daisy May is a character which you see in Animal Crossing who delivers turnips. And when I saw her character design and I was thinking about what character designs I would like to do overall, I just couldn't get the idea out of a ranger. I thought she'd make the absolute perfect ranger. She's obviously travels from town to town delivering these turnips. So a ranger's description is a warrior who uses martial prowess and nature magic to combat threats on the edges of civilization. Maybe she's traveling from town to town delivering these turnips, but in traveling from town to town in battling danger, it means that she's become such a fierce warrior overall. I don't know, I just thought it was fun. I really enjoyed doing this. It really was a lot of fun, and I hope you have all enjoyed it too. It's just been a really good time. So that is all my Animal Crossing designs. Which one was your favourite? Let me know in the comments section down below. And if you have any favourite Animal Crossing NPCs that you would like to see into Dungeons and Dragons characters, let me know. I'd be really interested in seeing what you do. Also, if you want to take up this challenge for yourself, absolutely do it. It is an idea that anyone can use and everyone's going to come up with original concepts. It doesn't have to be the same idea, just have a lot of fun with it, and that's the whole thing that comes to when it's drawing. So it's going to come to the end of the video where I'm going to be showing off some amazing artwork that you have tagged me in. If you want a chance for your work to be featured, use the hashtag #StayCreativeWithSophiralou on Instagram and or Twitter for a chance for your work to be featured so that I can pop it up at the end of these slots. Really, really love all the work that you tag me in. Also, this year I'll be participating in Witchtober. If you've already seen it on the community tag, I have posted up basically like my full list that me and the Discord originally came up with that we will be working on for Witchtober this year. So if you are interested, here is the official list. Ding, 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 ding. If you want to join the Discord, it is down in the information box down below. Hope you will have a wonderful day, keep drawing, and as always folks, stay creative.